Hello everyone. In this video we will talk about a proxy server. I will explain you what a proxy server is in the simplest possible words. Uh, let's say we are normal clients who have, let's say, their own laptops or their own computers or anything else to kind of browse some website. Uh, Let me just get a little bit of better market. Yeah, so these are the clients. They can be some mobiles, they can be some laptops, computers, whatever, servers in any premises, let's say in a house, in a school, in an organization, in a company or something. And let's say these end users want to connect to some server, let's say, or get some resources or get some, let's say, web page or some information downloaded, like we get from Google, for example, or let's say from any other website, let's say Facebook, or let's say any of the website, maybe some company's website, its website, maybe some bank's website, anything, which is a server in this case. So we, through the internet, we ask this information. Let's say we ask through our browser, I want, let's say, this info from Google, and then the browser asks, and then this, and we get it, this browser gives this, let's ask this information directly, and then we get it back on our, mobile or laptop or computer, whatever, so this is how normally, this browsing works, or how we, whenever we send a request to the internet, and that's how we get a response back, so what will happen in the case of a proxy is that we will have some other servers, some intermediate servers somewhere here in between. And this server is going to kind of act as an interface, or as a, what you can say, as a gateway, between these clients and these end users. So this is how this whole thing will look like. So this is the proxy server. So as I explained before, this is going to act as a router, because we are going to send the request to this server, and this server is going to forward this request to through the internet to, for example, Google, or Facebook, or to some bank website, or some organizations, or some company's website, whatever, uh, or to some, let's say, Yahoo website, whatever, so this information will go from the client to the proxy server, and the proxy server is going to communicate to these servers. So let's say I let's say I want to ask some information to through any of these servers. So I will ask the proxy, give me this information. Then the proxy will know that I ask this information from this server, because this request has this information in the form of IP address or something. So the proxy is then going to get this information, going to ask this information, and then give back this information to us. So this is kind of, actually some kind of privacy for us. It has an advantage also, because these servers, they just don't know which endpoint here or which user has asked this information. This server only knows that this proxy has communicated with me, and I am sending the information to this proxy. But this information that the proxy got, it's going to send back to the client, which asked for this information. So that's how the proxy works. This is also called forward proxy. So as I've explained, so it hides the individual clients from these servers that are, serving, or that are sending the information to the clients, So this is one of the advantages of the proxy or the forward proxy, that it hides the clients from the servers. The other advantage of the proxy server is that the companies, for example, can or parents can restrict, for example, certain kind of websites. They can, for example, put a firewall or something here and put some, restrictions on certain side kind of websites that they don't want their kids to see, or the companies don't want their employees to use those websites. For example, companies don't want their employees to use, for example, Facebook during the company time, so they will put restriction on this proxy to not, give access to these clients, to these endpoints, to this Facebook website. Similarly, the parents can control, for example, the porn websites or some other bad websites which are not good for their kids, so that they can't, access these websites, because the proxy server will restrict that. So this is one other advantage of proxy. There is another advantage, is called caching. Caching means, for example, let's say one of the clients here is going to get some information from Google or from Yahoo or from some other website, uh, and and then the proxy server provides this client this information from the server. But let's say after some time the user needs again the same information. So this proxy server is going to hash the contents of that web page uh, inside its memory, and it's going to then only not actually go back every time to the actual server to bring this information, but it will just use its cache and send this information to the client from the proxy itself. So it increases actually the speed of, kind of communication between the clients and between the endpoints and the servers. And so of course, whenever there is a change in the information, the proxy server will only then communicate with the servers and get this change in information to the clients that are requesting it. So this is how this caching thing will work. This also improves the speed. And there is one other thing that the proxy you can achieve from the proxy server. For example, you can kind of, based on the geolocation, geolocation, I think it's called geolocation fencing, no? Geolocation fencing. So it means that based on a certain geolocation, you know, this proxy server is configured that it cannot, for example, provide certain access to certain websites or certain web servers, to the clients of that location. For example, if some country, it doesn't want its people to, kind of get access to some information, then they will set the proxy server in a way that the people of their country cannot, access. For example, in China, of course, this has disadvantages because, some dictatorial countries, they, you know, don't want their people to have access to free information, which can, of course, benefit them somehow or open their eyes. So, of course, this has disadvantages also. Yeah. So this is also, this a feature that can be achieved using a proxy server. That is you can kind of restrict the, access to certain web servers to your clients based on their geolocations. Um, yeah, more or less, this is what actually the proxy server is all about. I hope you understand this well. Let me again describe you in simpler words. So a proxy server is actually a kind of a gateway between the clients, the individual client nodes, and the web servers. Like, before your website goes into the web server through the internet, you have a gateway proxy which is going to take all your informations, and on your behalf it's going to ask that information. Like, for example, client 1 is wants, like, say, information 1, client 2 wants information info 2 from, let's say, from this website, Facebook, or website 2 or Yahoo or whatever, and client 1 wants information from Google. So this proxy server is going to ask Google to give this information. So Google is actually sending this information to the proxy server. Similarly, Yahoo is sending the information to the proxy server. Google and Yahoo does not know which are the nodes who actually ask the information. So the actual nodes are hidden from the web servers, and then the proxy simply forwards this information to the actual nodes that asked for this information. So that's it. That's what a proxy is, or a forward proxy is. I hope you liked the video. Thanks. Bye bye.